Hello, creative people at Sherry with Dragon Wagon Studio. Thank you for joining me in this tutorial today. I am going to show you how to take your favorite photo and secure it onto canvas so it looks beautiful, professional, and has a nice glossy finish and then is embedded in resin forever. So this is my puppy Odin. He's a very handsome boy. He's such a good dog. This is just a piece of canvas board from the dollar store. You don't need anything fancy for this. The resin's going to make it look expensive for you, so feel free to use cheap canvases on this. You will need some spray glue, so I'm going to use this one. You can use also the 3M177. I'll put a picture up here. That one's also really good. I did print this off on my computer. I have a Pixma G600 series. So that is a dye ink. It's really important to know which inks you have because a lot of pigmented inks tend to bleed. Dye inks are a little more permanent, so it's important to know that. This is printed on high gloss photo paper. So I'm not going to do any pre-preparation for this. I should be okay in this application. In my next video I'm going to go over some different mediums you can use to protect your photo before you put it in resin. So stay tuned for that tutorial. But for today, we're just going to go and do just a basic, nice and easy, simple paste and pour. I did purposely print this a little bit bigger. I knew this was 5x7, but I wanted to make sure I was over and not under. I printed it off at a 5.5 by 7.5, just so I have a little bit of overhang. We'll cut that off later. First, I'm going to go and just paint my edges real quick with some acrylic paint. The photo is not obviously going to cover that edge, so if you want your blank edge, go ahead and leave it, but I like my edges finished. It looks clean. All right, I'm just going to use some black acrylic paint, and I'm just going to go and paint this up real quick, so I'll be back when I'm done. All right, we are all dry. So now we need to secure our photo onto our canvas. So that's where our spray glue comes into play. Since it's such a little picture, I'm just going to spray the whole thing. If you're doing anything bigger than a 5x7, like an 8x10 or bigger, you'll probably want to just do it in half and half, just so you can get it secured. But since it's just a little picture, I'm just going to spray it right on. And I'm just going to flip this over and make sure he is right in the middle. You don't want to look at a crooked picture. Okay, now I'm going to get something heavy, like this Mod Podge container. Just kind of weigh it down a little bit. If you guys are doing anything like a 8x10 or bigger, you're going to want to support your canvas before you put resin on it. Resin's very heavy and you'll create a bell into your canvas. Like, it will sink your canvas in. So here's a 8x10 I did with some aquamarine and resin. And just to give you guys an idea, this is a piece of foam board that I just glued in there with a glue gun. And that made sure that I didn't get any canvas sagging since I put all this heavy stuff on it. So that's just a tip for you guys. If you're doing anything bigger than this, you're going to want to support that weight. So we'll just let this dry for 10 minutes and then we'll come back and trim up this edge and pour our resin on. All right, so I got it flipped over. I didn't have enough glue in some areas, so I just kind of flipped it up and squirted some more in like this in the corner. And that's where the brayer is coming in, so I can just kind of roll that around. If you're using any other glue, if you don't have a spray glue and you want to use like a white glue or Mod Podge or something like that, that's where the brayer comes in to make sure you have no globbies underneath your picture. But it also helps to put pressure on your photo. All right, so now I am going to Just go along here and cut that excess off. All right, so make sure you got a nice sharp, straight edge. There we go. There. That fits on there all great. Perfect. So now we can get to the next step, and that is the resin. A couple of these little cups to prop it up so the resin can drip off. This is a silicone tray that I made for specifically for resin. I don't like how that's going to sit. It's going to push my canvas. And because I don't have a foam piece behind this, you don't want these under the canvas because it's going to push your canvas up. I don't have anything protecting it there, right? So I'm just going to have them on the edge. I'll just kind of rotate it as it dries so I don't get any resin pooling up there in these little parts right here and here. We got to make sure this is level first. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to put my mask on and pour some resin. The resin you're going to want to use is going to be a casting resin for this type of project because you're encasing something in resin. So there's certain types of resin for this specific project. All right, so I mixed up 20 mils. Let's get a little paintbrush, silicone one. Look at how much that's already popped this picture out just with this nice gloss on there. I'm just going to go around and spread my resin, try and get it all evenly over. Bring it up to the edges. We want that flowing over. Even help it start it out. Painting the edges of it here. I keep moving my canvas. Just watch out for little pockets. I've seen one up here. Just give it some more resin in that area. If it seems like it doesn't have enough compared to the rest. It does self-level out, but you always get pockets coming around the edges here, so just be mindful of that. That's where they like to hang out. And I'm just going to paint my edges to make sure they're all fully covered by the resin. So you don't want to have to do another coat if you don't have to. I'll pop out all that nice shiny black that we did on the side. There we go. There's that part. Now we got to get those bubbles. There's a whole bunch right here all around them. Don't use a torch. Torch is not going to be good for this. It's going to heat up your picture and that's going to be bad. Heat does bad things to photos. So I am just going to use my heat gun on light and kind of far away and try and get as much of that as possible. Alrighty, let's let that dry. I'm just going to kind of babysit this and make sure I got no pockets, but yeah. I'll show you what it looks like when it is done. Alright, creative people, it's that time in the video where I ask you so kindly to hit that subscribe button, like, share. Thank you so much for helping me get my content out there. I really appreciate you so much. And if you'd like to support my channel, you can buy me a coffee at dragonwagonstudio.ca. And that goes towards keeping my channel running. So I really appreciate everyone that has supported me thus so far and the many more to come. All right, so let's get on with how this turned out. This is the finished product. So we got no pockets. It all turned out clean. I did end up getting some kind of dust particle that fell on there, so that kind of sucks. It's got a couple little dots right there. It's like a piece of some kind of hair. Anyway, so that kind of sucks, but it did turn out so handsome. I love how it's nice and shiny. The sides turned out great. That black's nice and shiny. And that is it. That is just so easy and simple. And this picture will look absolutely fantastic for the rest of time. So if you want to encase all your favorite photos in resin, this is how. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got some good information and great tips from it. And You can also drop me a comment. Let me know your thoughts. Do you do this with your pictures? What do you think? Just let me know what you guys' thoughts are. Anyway, well, thank you so much for watching. And as always, stay creative. And I'll catch you guys in the next one.